Need more faith, need more time. But I ain't waiting at the back of that line. You can call it all on me. You can call it all on me. We sang and pop goes a weasel and there's something wrong. Should've known better, but we won't be saying that for long. Keep it together, there are things you must say wrong. Nothing lasts forever, yeah, all be coming back to me. So call it all on me, yeah. Call it all on me, yeah. Call it all on me. Hey. Woo. And we love like we're playing a game, and we hate because we're passing the blame. And for what? Cause we won't stand up, we just huff and puff. Feels like enough is enough. We sang and pop goes a weasel and there's something wrong. Should've known better, but we won't be saying that for long. Keep it together, there are things you must sever. Nothing lasts forever, yeah, I'll be coming back to me. So call it all on me, yeah. Call it all on me, yeah. Call it all on me. We're singing pop goes the weasel. Pop goes a weasel. Pop goes a weasel. Pop goes a weasel and there's something wrong. Hey. Na 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 na
Buenos dias.
Sky Bet
Oh.
Match 5. Score
Hold
free
on.
bets when
Hold
your
on.
selected teams win with our free-to-play games.
Silence thine intrusive advertorials, advertisements. How irksome after that moment of vibe. That's a tune, that is a tune, that's by the ever gifted Calamista, now a local Leith resident, but originally from that landscape there, Dunbar. And that was a wee video that I made, a wee film that I made with the man himself. That was a nice day out, Bob. I see he's here, he's joined us. It certainly was a nice day out, JCP. And it was all the more enhanced by my extra my gluttonous appetite for the Liberty Caps, like, you know. I was we were kind of demented because it was COVID idiocy, like, you know, when you could only talk to somebody from across the street and that, like, you know. And I was like, fuck that. So went down to you sold out, man. Yes, taking sponsorship from Sky Bet now. So that was it was a great day, another great day, and another amazing fire cairn ceremony there by JCP, and it was cool, man. It was a good vibe. It was all the more enhanced by the interdimensional vibes. Who's with us this morning then? Who has braved all and joined us? Who have we got? Morning Rocky Vibrations. Right, we're giving it the Leslie, like, you know. Arpignon, great to see you there. Sky Blue, morning all. I was in the capital taking the hire car back this morning. Feels warm out like the sun wants out, but too windy and clouds. It was windy. It was pissing with rain earlier, but here we are. Nothing like starting the day with a good bit of weather chat, like, you know. Great wee tune. It's a lovely track, that. One of Callum's earlier vibes, like, it's a great track. It's a belter. Morning CC, Let Me Look. Morning, Let Me Look. Good morning, Doreen. Lovely to see you there. Who have we got? Is there anybody on the name day? Oh, wait a minute, let me click this. I don't know. Is there anyone anyone looking? 20 viewers on 20 viewers thus far on the X. Who's in on the X? I'm pulling that plug. I'm always threatening it. Morning, Parker. Parker dives in just as I'm about to end the stream. Parker and a whole bunch of lockers. Van is there. Good to see you, soldier. Hope you're well. No seen or heard from you for a while, but I always like to see your avatar popping up there. Knowing that you're still in the Southside game. Another good local lad. A Dinah Cat. Right. Without much ado, I seem to have a whole bunch of stuff going off on the old device here, so let's have a wee look in for a minute and see what we can... No, don't pull the plug. Aye, right, we'll see. You're keeping it real noisy. You're keeping us. I need to figure out some technical vibes over this coming few days. So next week we can take off like an interstellar jet. Hold on, let me just. What's happened here? I can't get in. What's going on? I've been locked out. Five notifications already. What have we got? What's Katrina Grant saying? Wait, let's just, before we look at who's trying to talk to me, let's just look at, right off the bat, the Laird of Camo, 20 minutes ago, is commenting. The current state of cultural commentary. Yeah, everyone should just rotate to whatever government's going to be in power, as though it was some sort of failing meme coin. If you're paying attention to this, like weirdos like me, what we're talking about is the sort of the ever sort of heightened, frenzied chatter amongst, and it's really quite funny. It has to be said. I'll try to make this make sense, because to most normal people, which I believe most people here are, it's probably not that interesting. It's probably like, what are they all talking about? Like, what's going on? And so what's happened is, because Creative Scotland have cut their fund, have said like they're not. They've shut down their open fund, which is where a lot of artists kind of went into the lucky dip, depending on who they knew. The lucky dip, depending on who they knew, and that would mean that they could secure some funding or other. And there's a whole bunch of people now talking about the arts. Oh, the arts, and everybody's trying to talk. But the thing that unites all of these people, unequivocally, is that they're all kind of academic and middle classes, and they seem to not have recognised this, that the more they all squawk, the more it's very clear about who the arts, funded arts more specifically, is the preserve of. Okay? It's not even, you don't even have to do anything. You just have to watch. Go, oh, look at all the people that are upset about this. None of them are working class. Funny that, isn't it? Right. So it's not to say there's anything wrong with middle class people making art or getting the arts, but it's just very clear about who this system is primarily servicing, you know. And good morning, Shinjok, you know. And also the fact that it's there's never any discussion about how to really tackle the system of arts funding itself. There's just this kind of abdicating kind of deference to, like, oh, there's no money, like, you know, well, you need to sort this out kind of thing, you know what I mean? There's a complete and utter lack of progressive thought towards it all, you know. I didn't really want to start the day blethering about all this stuff again, but let's see. Anyway, so Scott Hames put out this big massive thread the other day. I couldn't be bothered reading it. It was just the thread, a big long thread about it, like, you know, some Scottish Labour in 2026 is going to be a different creature as Scottish Labour in 1997 or 2006 because the political context has shifted dramatically. Relationships between sector and government might be different too. The Scottish arts sector needs to start thinking about this. It's like any of us who actually understand, like, you know, we were talking about this ages ago, like, watch this, boom, Nats are getting completely decimated at Westminster. They're going to get pounded at Holyrood, and it's going to have a direct impact on how this impacts the culture sector. Like, you know, when the vote happened on the 4th of July, this is what people like me and that were talking about, like, watch this, watch them all, they're all going to start going rage. It's like, I feel like Nostradamus, but I'm really not nowhere near as gifted as Nostradamus because it's just so fucking obvious with all these twats, like, you know what I mean? Boring. Right, anyway, Ewan McComb, right? McComb is a bit. I didn't ken him, right? I met him once because he went to a mutual friend's funeral. He was always, in fairness to McComb, back in the day, I was quite wide to him, but that was because a pal of mine was telling me that he doorstepped him when he was a jobbing journalist. So I was kind of fighting someone else's case a wee bit. You know, I never knew the guy, but I just was noising up on behalf of a pal. Anyway, yesterday he said something really abhorrent. But then he also said something really funny. So it just shows you, right? We can't judge people too much. We're all capable of being... We are not the sum of our parts. We are made of multitudes, as Walt Whitman said, etc., etc. What's McComb saying now? I'm not saying this is good advice for every politician, but years ago on Teesside, I fronted up a councillor who'd been barred from every pub in town. He was lovely, and as I left, he offered me mates rates on a half queue. Is that a half queue what? Half queue what? Ching. What's a half queue of what exactly? A half quarter of what? Of hash, of diesel, of soap bar. Must be a while ago if that cunt was like, you know. Anyway, right. And excuse me, I do apologise. I'm going to stop swearing. I want chided every time a loose pejorative leaves these lips. I want to be assailed for it. I want to try and clean up my act, right? Can this be done? Can it be done? Is it possible? Anyway, McComb said something funny though yesterday. He made some weird apologism about. He made some weird apologism about Robertson and Gaza, which was a bit like, oh, come on. But then he did say, where is it? People say this. I'm going to tackle this question in a second. I'm not convinced anymore. But let's just, if he is, right? If he is both of these people, he deserves respect. If he is Brian Spanner, then he's so committed to it. And if he is Brian Spanner, he deserves. I remember one time we did think it was him, but I stopped thinking it was him. But maybe that's the absolute commitment to the craft. Then, like, you actually make folk. You know, it's just that denial thing. Nah, it's no me, and then people just end up going, nah, it's no, but it is. Anyway, I think people are probably like, what are you talking about? Anyway, where was McComb said something? Where is it? Why am I... Look at this, having to surf Ewan McComb's timeline. How what a just dirty act. I'm going to have to wash myself after doing this, like, you know. He's retweeting Brian Spanner. Oh, where is it? I've missed it. It's unlike me to... Look, you'll just have to bear with me here. This is a novel this is a pioneering format, you know. So just be aware that you're all part of something special. He says, as he visually procrastinates. Here he's asking for a call out. If anyone following me has been affected by the Creative Scotland cuts and wants to talk about it for a piece, please get in touch. Thank you. It's so, I don't know whether he's been sarcastic or sincere, but it was so polite. I'll like it and retweet it. Where's his tweet? He did say something. Tell me he's not deleted it. Right, look, just wait the now. What's going on? I have to go back to my own page. Where was it? He's deleted. Why has he deleted it? The only fucking thing that he said that was funny, he's deleted. Why would you do that? Right, somebody at McComb and ask him what he's doing. He wrote something that was like genuinely, it was funny. Maybe he didn't like the fact that I thought it was funny. Why? It's like, and now I'm trying to think if I put it in, if I sent it to anyone. I don't think I did. Look at that. I'm not going to make a habit of archiving what Ewan McComb says. Right, who's notifying me? Right, here we go. This boy's going, McComb is Brian Spanner. That's wanker troll from 2014 and present day. But John, I like you, John, but I'm not convinced. I want hard evidence. I want hard evidence of how we know this is the case. I remember there was a whole people at one point people were sort of trying to triangulate his tweets based on like when it said the location of the tweet and the time and that, and folk were going like, McComb went to Largs for like an ice cream one day or something, and everyone was like, Brian Spanner was tweeting from Ayr and McComb, and they were trying to basically create some kind of sort of star map as to where some sort of figure out whether they were. That's how sad Indie Ref was, you know. See, when you think back, right, there's a lot of things Scottish culture has got a lot to answer for, but there was the whole just the sort of like there's a number of things that when you put it all down on the table, it does make for quite cringeworthy reading. For example, like, you know, the fact that the guy, you know, we were talking about him the other day, but the fact that the Wings Over Scotland guy, like one guy basically in his basement in Bath with a computer, he's like a computer games guy. He's like he wrote for an Amiga magazine, wrote games reviews, and he made more money out of the independence grift than the SNP themselves, pretty much. And he also has like, to get it, he also managed to just disrupt continually pretty much the whole party and the whole project continually. One guy, right? So this isn't really so much as a testament to his abilities. It's a direct indictment on the absolute clown show of our political class and our governing party. and the delusion that the electorate, or the sort of the conditioned kind of deference that the electorate have to power and stuff, you know. It's these factors, you know, that you had one kind of nerd in his gaff just noising everybody up. I mean, people make this argument that he's British state or otherwise, you know. It's a reasonable argument, but whether he is or he isn't, you know, or it doesn't really matter. It's just the fact that, like, one guy in what the nationalists would deem to be another country. It's like the entire Scottish nationalist project, really, when observed kind of objectively, is a complete farce. I mean, I used to say, like, you know, people would be like, we're being infiltrated. You know, you get all these reactions like MI5 have infiltrated us, and the reaction, you know, they're British state. We've got a British state, and the British state, MI5, and all these people, like, they probably did set up an office to deal with the Scottish project, you know, because it would be a threat to the Union, and they probably spent most of the time laughing, smoking cigars, and wanking, like, you know what I mean? Because we didn't need any infiltration. They're just completely incompetent from start to finish. You know, they're like, look at this guy. They've got a guy in Bath, one guy, just fucking everything up for them, you know. So that was that's just got to be a wee bit carried away. But I look at all these swear words that have just come out. Has anybody criticised me for this? Not a single attack. The little blue book was held up as a Bible until he self-identified as a wrong one. Yeah, I mean, it's a weird one. I think he did start off, like, you know, as a real kind of passionate, kind of like Scotland, kind of like, you know what I mean, partisan guy. And I think there's that thing where it's like the sort of the sort of Star Wars Genesis, like, you know what I mean, where he starts off as like a good guy and it ends up like fucking Darth Vader, like, you know, it's like, I think that's pretty much how it was, like, you know. It certainly does. He says, independence movement suffers from a lack of talent. Yes, it suffers from many afflictions, and lack of talent is high on the order of pathologies. I love your language. Look at that. See, here's me trying to iron it out, and people are like, don't go changing. Right, we'll see. Not everybody, I can tell you right now, least of all my mother. My mum just, every time with my mum, she's like, please stop swearing, the neighbours out here. Please, language. Right, okay. Morning, Bob. I can comment on your love this morning. What do you mean by this? There's all these codified. I was speaking to a friend the other day there, and I was telling him about, I've mentioned it before, but, you know, because I've had so much, what used to happen to me, people would meet me in the street and go like, oh, I love what you do on Twitter and that, I love your tweets, but, you know, I can't retweet them, like, I love it, and you're like, oh, great, aye, brilliant. But then I'm like, so what, do I follow you? They're like, aye, you do, aye, you follow me back, and I'm like, well, what's your handle? And then they'll kind of reluctantly kind of admit what their handle is, and it'll be like some abstract, you know, sock account or something, do you know what I mean, that I've been following, or that's been liking my tweets, but impossible to actually identify who they are. But I've had a lot of accounts like that follow me over the years, and then, you know, I get things like I'd get like DMs, you know, like bit hot for a coat, like a bit of a hot day to be wearing a coat like that, is it not? You're like, what the fuck? Or like, you know, enjoyable fish supper. Do you know what I mean? All these freaks that like follow you, but they didn't care who they are. You know, what did I do to deserve this? Like, you know, who did? It's cool. Just be like, all right, mate, how you doing? Or didn't he? I didn't give a fuck. I tweeted to you yesterday that I couldn't comment on your love, meaning live. Ah, yes, of course. You can comment on my live and my love. My love and my live are one and the same thing, my friends. So feel free to see and say whatever you wish. I woke up at 4:30 this morning. I couldn't get back to sleep. I was really tired last night. I was in my kit before 11 o'clock, I think, and I was just knackered. And I woke up at 4:30, and I was kind of like bumbling away. I woke up sort of talking to myself. It was a bit of a weird one, like, you know. I guess that's what, like, social media will do that to you, like, you know. Talking to folk on social media at 4:30 in the morning. What have we got here? Somebody find out what McComb said yesterday. I had it. He said something like, "There's a whole bunch of people." Do you know what? I can't be bothered. It was. Right. See this. This is what I tweeted when I woke up yesterday. It's that thing, right? It's like we're in a sort of we're living in a time of bizarre denialism, and people are just, you know, sort of willful denialism of what's going on. Yesterday there was another massacre by Israel, another attack in some school somewhere, and there was an image. I blurred the image. It was, you know, this image here. It was so incomprehensibly horrific. And the guy, whether it was his own child or someone else's child, the kid's head had been sliced open. It was hanging. The whole child was just like sliced in half, kind of thing. And it was obviously just happened. In fact, you saw him kind of lifting the kid up in the building that had been blown up, and then kind of running along the street, you know. And there's still pockets. I mean, that's what McComb was basically doing. You know, McComb was sort of saying, you know, doing this kind of proxy apologism for Israel, as well as his amusing thing that he said yesterday. But this is why, you know, if we don't have a united opposition towards a political class that have chosen to legitimise this state, which is what the Scottish political class did, and only after a couple of weeks and public pressure did they start to come out and make these apologies, it's not good enough. And I just want to make this point. You know, I made a tweet and I said, this was the one in the morning, you know, I said, you know, like, for all it's worth, like, I demand the resignation of Angus Robertson on account of his legitimisation of the terrorist state of Israel. I ask all people who oppose the terrorist state of Israel to call for the immediate resignation of Angus Robertson. Now, 33 people have liked it, and 16 people have retweeted it, and one person's replied, I think, on what they said. I don't know if they said something, or some troll was trying to be smart about it. But, you know, okay, so it's just me saying that. It's like, no, not really. It's not just me that's saying that. There's very little that we can do to express our rage and anger towards our political classes for allowing this, for being complicit with this, of which, you know, you can't get more complicit than bringing them up for a haggis supper and a tour of the Fringe, right? And then only after getting a bit of heat, coming out and saying, oh, we shouldn't have done that, and we're not going to have any more relationships with them. No, you need to resign. You need to go. We've already exposed how much of a muppet Angus Robertson is continually in a whole number of factors. But it's not really enough just for me to put out a tweet, obviously, you know. So when I put that there, you know, I would hope that people, that if they are on X or otherwise, you know, write your own tweet and say something yourself. You know, people, use your impetus. I'm not going to tell you what to do. You don't have to do it. You're under no obligation whatsoever. But my personal feeling is that if we don't express directly to our elected political class some form of absolute red line on this, then really, you know, what's the point of complaining about our politics or our society or culture, you know? There's nothing. We've had months and months and months of this. It's going to be a year soon. There's no let up. It's a quotidian thing. It's a daily thing. And, you know, I think especially those in the arts, and for whatever reason, the cowardice. I mean, there are literally people who are caught in some sort of public schizophrenia of criticising Creative Scotland to a certain extent, or tentatively criticising Creative Scotland, but criticising more to the point, ruthlessly criticising what Israel are doing and then making excuses for Angus Robertson. It won't take you long to go around and look at the sort of Scottish milieu of people who think they've got something to say about politics and culture, and who will make excuses for Robertson. You can't make any excuses for Robertson. It's done. Robertson knew exactly what he was doing. Swinney knew exactly what he was doing. They both looked like rabbits caught in the headlights when they had to speak up about this. And it's not enough. Sarah Slayers or something, she had made a petition that's got 1,500 signatories to it, of which I am one, asking for Robertson to resign. That petition should have 10,000 signatories to it. Where's the Palestine? Where's Mick Napier's lot? Where's all the actors and the Scottish arts people? Why are the Scottish arts and Scottish act, all the people going on about Scottish arts and Scottish act, the Scottish culture sector? Why? Because a lot of these people are incredibly vocal about what's going on with Israel, rightfully so. Why have they held back from actually calling for Angus Robertson's resignation? Presumably it's because Angus Robertson is the culture secretary and he holds the purse strings to a certain extent of Creative Scotland. So what does that say about these people? What does it say about the cowardice of our Scottish, the sort of establishment of Scottish arts and culture? Answers on a, sticky back envelope. Since I started reading and listening to your content, you have introduced me to loads of new words I like to learn. I feel a bit flattered here. I used to read the dictionary as a child. I could never get into story books, so that's nice. That's nice. Words are great though. But something interesting, and I'm going to play a wee piece. I'm going to play a wee piece just now, because it ties into something else that I'm quite excited about theoretically in terms of where we're at as a species, for want of a better term. And it was one of McKenna's main kind of points that he returned to continually. If anybody's not familiar with Terence McKenna, this time of existence is the time to familiarise yourself with him. McKenna, it was an absolute prophet, an incredible human being, and someone who was brave in his willingness to speak truthfully about what he felt, how important he felt psychedelics were, and certain types of psychedelics, and why they were important to our development as a people, as a culture, and for the liberation of our consciousness. And my work, or the work that I've been working on, is about how capitalism affects our consciousness and what capital does to our consciousness. And I hope to bring out some of my work that I've been working on for the last few years on this, and over this next period, if I can figure out the way to do that effectively. But this is essentially what I have been looking into and thinking about for the last few years, in my own small way of trying to contribute to these type of schools of thought. But McKenna had a very particular position on language, and something that he was conscious of was, first of all, he's by no means the only person to have ascertained the power of language, and those who control the language kind of control power. That's why in this kind of weird state of culture over this last decade or so, where we've seen the battle is all about terminology and language, whether it's even down to concepts to do with sexuality and the war between the definitions of terms. It's about, this battle is about how we can, if you can change the language, then you can change the perception of power or the dominance of a certain section of the culture over the other. And we have a sense of forbidden language, etc., etc. But what McKenna was erring towards, which I think we are now beginning to see the emergence of, which is quite exciting, was that McKenna felt that language would evolve into a more image-based system of communication. And that's something that with the for all those who are quick to criticise AI, which I can understand the arguments and stuff that they are, but what AI also develops the possibility of is the transition from language into visuals. And the reason why that's important and exciting is because they say the term, a picture paints 1,000 words, and what we can ascertain from the visual field is that we can perhaps grasp and comprehend things better as images than we can as language. There are all kinds of implications and complexities when it comes to language, and misconceptions and misunderstandings, and we need to translate things, etc. But if you think of a term, if somebody says something like, oh, I see what you mean, or I see what you say, like that means that you're visualizing what someone's saying. So if you have an image of something, it's far more universally understood, and that's why as we move into this new realm, which may be the end of the species altogether, or it may actually be the transitional period where we actually are able to cast off some of our restraints and these horrors that we're currently experiencing, especially this period of terror and murder and horror, is actually, what McKenna was essentially alluding to is perhaps this is more of a sort of a painful birthing process where we're actually exiting the birth canal into something new altogether. That's a bit Raj for 10:35 on a Thursday morning, is it not? Right, I tell you what, I'm going to wrapping it. I'm going to nip away for a moment or two. I'll leave you with VT, but I will return henceforth, my people.
I've got body clock, me come what I go confess and talk to God now. Ain't no telling when I'm gonna stop. I need a minute, get me off this rock. Saucing on him, I should knock her off. My little dark skin, but she get me slop. Take a look around the scheme and all I see is a reflection in my vision mirrored back at me to show the true intentions of the person that I want to be, the one that I already see, mixed up in this life full of heartache and grief. I'm just trying to stay pure and keep my head above the water, but I still feel like I'm drowning.
43,000 votes from Birmingham alone. Been campaigning for just over 4 weeks. I've beaten 3 political parties who have spent millions on their parties and their campaigns.
Hello, my name is Dr. Green Thumb. I'd like to tell you just where I'm from. In the hills where the trees grow wild with wheat fields. The fucking pigs with shields holding the blue steel. Greenhouse effect with the weak connect. DEA can't keep the green thumb in check. HBA.
Nightmares, lifeless, it's a hot house. Do I get another spin? Do I get another spin? Do I get another spin? Another 9 days alive. Another 9 days alive. It's only a short time before I get wise. Another 9 days alive. Another 9 days alive. It's only a short time before I get wise.
Well, novelty is not necessarily good or nice. Novelty is complex. That's what it is. And so I see really a concatenation of tendencies and forces here at the end. It's only going to get weirder. The level of contradiction is going to rise excruciatingly, even beyond the excruciating present levels of contradiction. So I think it's just going to get weirder and weirder and weirder, and finally it's going to be so weird that people are going to have to talk about how weird it is. And at that point, novelty theory can come out of the woods, because eventually people are going to say, what the hell is going on? It's just too nuts. It's not enough to say it's nuts. You have to explain why it's so nuts. So between now and 2012, the next 14 years, I look for the invention of artificial life, the cloning of human beings, possible contact with extraterrestrials, possible human immortality, and at the same time, appalling acts of brutality, genocide, race baiting, homophobia, famine, starvation, because the systems which are in place to keep the world sane are utterly inadequate to the forces that have been unleashed. The collapse of the socialist world, the rise of the internet, these are changes so immense, nobody could imagine them ever happening. And now that they have happened, nobody even bothers to mention what a big deal it is. The fact that there is no such thing as the Soviet Union, people never talk about it anymore. But when I was a kid, the notion that that would ever change was beyond conceiving. So the good news is that as primates, we're incredibly adaptable to change. Put us in a desert, we survive. Put us in the jungle, we survive. Under Hitler, we survive. Under Nixon, we survive. We can put up with about anything, and it's a good thing because we're going to be tested to the limits. The breakdown of anything, and this is why the right wing is so alarmed, because what they see going on is the breakdown of all tradition, all order, all sanctioned norms of behavior. And they're quite right that it's happening, but they're quite wrong to conclude that it should be resisted or is somehow evil. The mushroom said to me once, it said, this is what it's like when a species prepares to depart for the stars. You don't depart for the stars under calm and orderly conditions. It's a fire in a madhouse. And that's what we have, the fire in the madhouse at the end of time. This is what it's like when a species prepares to move on to the next dimension. The entire destiny of all life on the planet is tied up in this. We are not acting for ourselves or from ourselves. We happen to be the point species on a transformation that will affect every living organism on this planet at its conclusion.
Tell you what though, eh? Pretty sharp guy, eh? That's the last interview before he died. That was just a very short time before he left this realm. You know? What a guy, Terence. What a guy. But it doesn't matter how much of McKenna you can listen to, right? He'll just always say something and you'll be like, how did this guy come out with something like, you're just like, how did you figure that out, mate? There's certain things that he says, I'm trying to peer on a very small screen here so I can rescue back my file from here. Where are we at? Yeah. He never fails to impress, you know. And he's always associated, you know, he's always got people always associate. He was kind of categorised inevitably by those that always have to kind of categorise everything and go, yeah, it was just, you know, he's kind of like thrown into a kind of wacko category by ignoramuses because of his association with psychedelics, which is certainly not something that certainly not something to be ignorant about. But the thing about his critique, that in my opinion, that's less appreciated, is just what a phenomenal social and cultural critic he was, and also his critiques of capital. He had a kind of thread that he didn't speak a lot, as far as I'm aware, about capitalism specifically, but any time that he does, it's very clear that actually this was a very fundamental factor to his general criticisms. Anyway, I digress a little bit here, and let me just realign my chakra. Let me realign the chakra. Who have we got here? Arpignon. And here's Jim with the sports. Yeah, that I'm not going to lie. That intrusion of Sky Sports was like a dirty. It was a dirty act, wasn't it? It was like, that's horrible. For a moment, we try to get away from all these things. You know, we want to create a space that eschews these horrible intrusions that we're faced with every day. And I let that in. I take responsibility for that. The fire in the madhouse at the end of time, totally. Like, you know what I mean? And tell me, is that not what it feels like? Carol Lagerfani has joined us. What joy! What a joy! We've been joined by Carol. Already, he's said more. He's said more in 10 seconds than everybody else who's been part of this vibe have over the course of a week. Like, you know what I mean? Carol, read the room. Get with the protocol. Cheers. Nick Kershaw. What we talking about? God, Nick Kershaw. Terence McKenna. Your throat chakra is on point. I don't know how to take that. I don't know. Getting a bit paranoid with some of the comments these days. Right, let's have another quick deek at the old Action Network. Yeah, that Sarah Sailors she was the one that created this. She created this signature path here, which is currently at 1,523 signatures. And for all the people in Scotland that are apparently opposed to Israel and opposed to the disgusting acts that have gone on, and I think that should be, you know, I think that should be a lot higher. You know, respect for international law. Angus Robertson must resign. Angus Robertson. Let me do it here. I'll do it here. Wait, I'll go another way. How about that? Right, we'll try and get to it. Tonight on Angus Robertson must resign. Okay, no, but seriously, Angus Robertson must resign. Like, yeah, I know that I demand that he must resign, but I'd like other people to demand that he must resign. So, taxi for Angus Robertson, not soon enough. Okay, let's go back to the there's this guy with his dog. We've told you about this guy before. He takes Barry pictures of the Hebrides and areas with his dog. I mean, look at that. I had a dog, and I used to go up north with my dog, and it was great, and he loved it. And it's, if you've got a dog and you go up north, it's like it's quite a thing. It's like, here's me with my dog up north in the Highlands. Look at that though, it's a belter. Another cracker from Christopher there. What is this madness? Again, Lisa, Zionism does run deep, clearly. Can I put the... Well, I would. Can I do that? I'll try it. Can I put the link in the chat? Is that possible? I don't think you can put links in the chat, but I'll try it. I'll do it right now, right? Link in chat. Oh, hold on a minute. Wait, hold on. So look. Has it worked? If it's there, it's there. Right. Right, here we go. Timmy B. Behave yourself, you half-wit. Presumably you're demanding the resignation of members of the Labour Party who are apparently funded by Israel, as well as the Tory Party, who seem to be quite pally with Israel as well. Hold on a minute, let's just... Timmy B. Indy supporting Celtic fan off. Fucking some Scottish state sycophant. They can all get to fuck. Tobertson, Angus Tobertson, for fuck's sake. I'll tell you something about the iPhone, right? There we go. I'm sure I could think of something more witty. Oh, for God's sake! This will be a. Kenneth Alexander Macaulay, well-educated codger from the islands who has spent a lifetime avoiding Egypt's misogyny and right-wing numpties. Angus is oh, for God's sake, stop doing Scotland down. What was his name again? Kenneth Alexander Macaulay. You can get to fuck Kenneth Alexander Macaulay and take your fucking anonymous Tim Pal with it. Right, good, you've signed it. Link works. Good link. I couldn't find it yesterday. Yep, it's worked. They'll be after you now, Bob. Who will be after me? Who will be after me? Look, they've all come after me. You're looking at the guy that they already all came after, like, you know what I mean? I'm still here. Do you know who I hate, right? Which is, there's something, like, I don't hate many people, right? But I really hate that guy because I noticed something. See this guy here, right? Is it? Right, see this guy? The free speech advocate, right? Leo Kearse, he thinks he's funny in that, right? He's a little race-baiting bastard, right? He's a racist. I totally believe he's a racist, right? He's a racist little race-baiting bastard, right? And see how there's this whole thing of like... He's such an advocate of free speech, he couldn't handle it when I ripped him a new arsehole a couple of months ago, right? I cannot stand that guy. And if there was anybody that I've never done any of the boxing thing or that, like, you know what I mean? I can do a bit of boxing and that, but like, see if I was ever to do like one of those, like, calling somebody out and actually go for like the you know, the gypsy call, that can you hear me? I'd like to punch fuck at him. So if anybody, let him know that I would like to go for one of those, like, you know how they have like these, well, it's not really a celebrity thing, but like if there was anybody I would like to fucking lay some mitts on, like, it would be him. I'd love to fucking get in the ring with him and punch fuck at him, like, you know what I mean? So there you go. That's my aggressive streak for the day, like, you know, Kieran Global. Well done, Kieran. Bob V. Kearse in the ring, 100%. I would love to punch fuck at Leo Kearse. I'm saying it right now. Leo Kearse, this is my gypsy call out to you, you fucking smug little race-baiting prick. I would love to fucking get you in the ring and fucking leather the fuck out of you, right? I know that's not what you expected after a morning of Terence McKenna, but I just can't stand it. Like, I can't stand him. He's an absolute little... He's a horrible little bastard. He does that whole... he does that whole thing where he's just responsible for the most abhorrent shit, and then he tactically, oh, but I'm not like this, I'm like that. No, you're not. You're a horrible little racist cunt, right? Anyway, you're a celebrity to us, Bob. Anyway, Kieran Global, can I just ask you, Kieran, is that how you say it? Are you the artist? Have you got a sister called Claire or something on the Instagram? Are you the artist in Glasgow? Because if you are, I love your work. It's absolutely brilliant. I think you do graffiti work and various things, and I've seen your stuff. I think your sister does. I think your sister makes music as well, which is cool as fuck. If it's the same people, I think it's the same people. But you also said the other day, you said something about what was it? What was it you said? You said something about the GB News people, and I couldn't remember it. But you said that they'd put up disclaimers about not being racist or something. It's like, aye, right. But you'd need to let me know what that was. Oh, for God's sake. For God's sake. It's 10:56, which means we're getting to that time again, people. We're getting to that time. But the sun is out, which is a nice thing. See now, if you had said that without swearing, it would not have landed right. If I'd said not, what's this? But who? Arpignon, misfits. He's a fucking misfit, like, you know what I mean? I really didn't like that guy. There's very few people that I genuinely didn't really like, but he's one of them. I want to find. I'm taking you back to the Times Square momentarily before I return and then depart. For God's sake, Bob, all this fighting and stuff. All right, okay. I know it's not becoming. Yes, that's me, man. That's great. It's a pleasure to have your company there, Kieran. I think your work is brilliant. I've seen your work. It's fantastic. You did a cool thing when Banksy had his show in that, man. That was cool. I liked that. It was really good. I'll be back in a momento. This is who I'm looking to see. Professor Dunedin in the house. Professor Dunedin, how are you doing, sir? Good to meet you. Good to see you there. How you doing? I've got you on candid camera. What are we going to do?
Look up the skirt of Edinburgh.
I like the sound of that. We're going to look up the skirt of a diner. What unpleasantries will we find? Look at this. Right, I've returned. I have returned once more, once again. Tell me, I'm just looking at my comments here. Who is, I'm blushing over here. You shouldn't blush, man. Your work is great. It's really good. Tell me, where is, who's Paul, what did it say? Who's Paul Brothers? Enlighten me. I didn't ken who that is. I didn't ken who Paul Brothers is. I was going to. You know what? Scott Graham has highlighted something here, and I really felt this today. I saw this article today, and I really felt it, right? Because the town is being it's just horrendous what's been done to Edinburgh. And when I go on about Edinburgh, and the thing that I always go on about is like, we've got we're a capital city, we don't have any broadcasting, we've had 10 years of rampant gentrification and social cleansing. If we had any proper broadcasting, this would have been well documented, we would have had, you know, much more public engagement with it, but it's deliberate. We don't have any proper broadcasting, we don't have any substantial media, so we're allowed to have capitalist bastards rape the city, destroy it, and everybody is all over the town feeling distressed and confused about what's going on, but there's no way to bring that together and let people understand that and form some kind of like idea about how we could deal with that. And it's very, very deliberate. But this one this morning, this really hit me hard, man. It was like, I don't even drink anymore, but Clark's is like, you know, it's just a vibe, you know. And whenever you went into Clark's Bar, so it's worth going into Clark's Bar just to go into Clark's Bar for the wood vibe, the old school Schultz and that. And that's Clark's Bar. That's done. So Clark's Bar is going to become probably a frozen yogurt and taco joint within the next fucking 6 months, like, you know. And Scott Graham, Scott Graham's like a bar biographer, he's like right into his bars and stuff like that, you know. An elegant little bar heading for the door. Its future development sounds ominous. It's such a shame. Funny thing about Clark's Bar is there was a newsagent next to it. I don't know if it's still there, but it was like a newsagent, and it was one of those newsagents that's. I'll tell you a funny story. Many years ago, I was in a rave band. Like, I made all this rave music many years ago, and when you could first get CDs pressed, it was like a big deal. It cost like 100 odd quid to get one CD produced, and you had to go and get it like it burnt onto a CD. And like, there was this guy in town, there was like a design company, and they were next to Clark's Bar. They were really cool guys, and I met them, and I can't mind what they were called, but they burnt the CD. It took like a whole afternoon to burn the CD, and they made this wee design thing and that. But anyway, I had the meeting in Clark's Bar with the guys. This is ages. I mean, this is like, you're talking like 30 years ago now, probably, and no far off it. And we were in Clark's Bar, and I needed to get a pen or something. I says, I'll nip to that newsagent next door. And I went into the newsagent, and it was like a really weird newsagent. I went in, and it was like, it had all these really mad, like German pornos and that, all these crazy, and it was like a set. It was like a set. I later learned that it was actually like this weird sex shop, like that. And it was called, I think it was called Newtown Press or something. If it's still there, maybe it's still there, I don't know, but it's like right next to Clark's. And I was like, I was just like a young laddie, like, you know, and I seen her and I get this sort of like weird dude, like, you know what I mean, behind the counter. And he was like, he goes, I was like, do you sell pens? He's like, no. And then he sort of went, wait, here. And he gave me like his biro. I was like, right. Anyway, I always had that vibe. I knew about that for Clark's Bar. There's an anecdote, an unexpected fucking anecdote that I pulled out of the nether regions of Moscone. So that's a shame about Clark's Bar, man. That definitely, that's a dull one. That is a dull one about Clark's. Right, I'm going to depart. The other thing, we'll come back to it tomorrow, was the drug deaths stuff. Anne-Marie Ward, there was some great stuff that she was saying about it, and then there was that car crash interview that I watched between the Scottish Minister and who's that journalist. He's really good. I've met him actually. Peter, somebody I think his name is. He was really good. He roasted the boy. Right. It is 4 minutes past 11. What have we got here? Give Kieran a follow on Twitter. He's a good guy. I just followed Kieran on Twitter and YouTube. Have seen your stuff, mate. Jake Paul and the other one, the Celebrity Boxing Kings. I didn't, right, I'm sort of vaguely aware of it all. I used to do paste-ups around the city about 20 odd years ago. Used to deliver to Clark's Bar with Stuart's Brewing. What rave band was it? Well, was a raver back in the day. Well, maybe I'll dig out some of my rave tunes, and I'll put them there. I'll go digging into the depths, and we can have a day of nostalgia towards that. Right, people. Once again, a joyous Thursday. Thanks for joining me on What the X. I'll be back here tomorrow at 10 a.m. once again, and I'm going to leave you this morning with a collab between Benny T, who's a Ouija Firebrand rapper, and Podgy, which was a cool track that they brought out maybe a year or so ago. I think it's called Back to Back, and I loved the track and I loved the video, so I'm going to play us out on that, and I'll see you all tomorrow at 10 a.m. Take care, everybody. Thanks very much.
Just beats to the dirty.
Sit back, it's a big man's back, you know what's what, don't think who's that. Got a joint back, snap tap, pause to the dangerous facts. I stink out gaps, that's standard, but I throw right back like tab. I'm bringing it back, smoke up in the flash. Just me and my team, we're having a laugh. Got nothing on mine but bucks and hash. I just spent all my cash on bud, and I don't get paid to the end of the month for minimum wage. Got bills to pay, bit more time, man, I got week to puff. Most cunts are cunts, so hit on my phone, get patched. No time for a rat, no thanks, no chance of you ever compete with a lad. I'm back with a bang.
Man, I come back with a bang, man, I come back with a bang. No black, no bleed, but I back that down. Grands on grands, that is the master plan. Scotland, that's where I'm at, where we use slang so they don't understand. With the good and the bad habitat, that's a fact, but it's fuck with a comfy damn. Some of them envy me, my destiny's no ending up dead in the street. You get what I mean, more rep of the scheme. Cancer, pestering me. Vote good stuff for this 10 of the G, bro. Didn't get a fuck, get left, don't see me. And Benny T, two Neds with a dream for the butter, but shout my Glasgow team.
You see your cheek now, won't take none. I'll take your cheek and I'll slap that. Don't do road and I don't do rap cap. Nah man, talking, I back that. And I've been in my grind and I got enough frames, just chilling in my mind like a snapback. I'm a class act, coffee, I tap that. BT, the kids on fire like Jack. Still see me on streets like a black hat. Air Max hoodie, I'm smoking a fat bat. Ha. I'll be 5 joints deep, hot box and a hatchback. 2 Neds for the scheme, we a dream, never did it seems. Everybody wants to be a bad man, but when it's question time like Santa, man, I can't find no words like hangman.
Just spent my cash on grass, buzz gon' rise cause it don't last. Pat Jack get a fatty pass, pat whenever I rap on track, or rat hat when it's held back to back. Cause my man are a boot tan and packed. Want grands on grands, wrapped in elastic bands. I'm not your average lad on a ball, no wine like Kaka. And I school these cunts like Jack Black. Joint so fat, looks like I've got a bat in my hand just like Bam Bam. 5 joint deep, hot box in an Astra. Now I make cut shapes like abstract. Chat half of the gram is sad that when it's question time they say nada.
Chat shit on the gram, you're a bam. Nah fuck that man, you're a fan, sit back and laugh. I'm swiping it up cause round here man we don't do it like that. Man, I just do me, I jump and I beat it's havoc. Something like Black Ops, feel like Black Ops 2 and the streets can stand off. I'm trying to see more P. It's G to the E-Town, Ken what I mean, do you know what I mean? Are you getting that lingo? Two joints tapped up, I Kimbo. BT man on the rise like crypto. Know how the thing go, head to the top, can't stop, won't stop, but I'm popping Pringles. Knew we kill it and did so, back where I bang, like I said in the intro.
Green on me like I'm Yoda, no don't fuck with the cats like Doja. Plenty buzz that I thought up, wrote up, fuck that and then tore up. I've gave my heart to this donor, me and BT too well known stoners. Try to get Mueller, no in the corners, composing dope notes like Mozart. Told bro chip in for the zoot, shit looks like I didgeridoo. Feels like I'm ripping a boot on the new Nimbus 2002. If I see police are kicking a boot, I'm hitting the roof and getting a good like life. Still try to figure it out, run hide if I decide to grip and shoot like.
It's Chabby boy and I'm back, jumping a beat, trust me cause get interrupted.
Mate, what are you up to?
I thought I told you it's all day, that fuck's sake.
But it's back to the business, persistence, one thing I'm missing.
BT Podgy, no chance to skip this like a last buster, you don't want to miss this.
Too right, man, get these digits, plenty times can't burn the bridges.
I kick back with a tea and a biscuit, can't tell man, but I whip up lyrics.
And I'll spin your friends round pivot, when I kick it, kit spins it like fidget.
Killer, did it, back in a minute, over and out, finished.